I feel like I don't know, maybe that like felt more stigma back in like the early 2000s, or maybe we've just gotten normalized. Like the whole Paris Hilton thing happened, Kim
Kim
Kardashian's
Kardashian
sex
thing, and
tape.
now it happens every day, and so much of it is just deep fake that it doesn't even matter.
Oh, yeah, that too. And
Hmm.
it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as scandalous anymore. Hi, we are.
NoonaTalk.
I'm Zara, and I am super confused about the show we're going to talk about today.
I'm Sophia, and I'm super intrigued by the show we're talking about today because today we are watching.
Divorce Attorney Shin. It is a brand new episode of Kdrama or Kflop, where basically we watch the first episode of popular K dramas to determine whether or not it's worth watching, which means it's a K drama, or whether it's a bit of a K flop where you just give up on the whole. Clearly this channel is only dedicated to watching shows about attorneys because we've done two whole episodes to Attorney Woo. So go ahead and
That
watch
is
that. We are Noona Talk, where we talk about K dramas like
a
we are today.
podcast.
Otherwise, we also talk about, oh, sorry, yes, we're a podcast where we talk about K dramas like we are doing today. Otherwise, we also talk about K pop, K culture, K beauty, everything you need to know for if you're a K stan, especially if you're a Desi stan. But even if you're not, that's not a problem. You can follow us on Instagram at Noona Talk, exactly like it sounds. We also do reactions right here on our channel. So DM us if there's anything you want us to react to.
Listen to our
So,
podcast on Amazon Music, Google
Spotify.
Spotify, wherever you can find podcasts. And of course, you can watch us here on YouTube to look at our beautiful faces.
Right. So let's jump into it. K drama or K flop. What is? I have no idea. Like until you told me this name, I hadn't even heard of
Yeah.
this.
Honestly,
Tell
I
me
saw
more.
it on Netflix. Like it just popped up as a recommendation, and I thought, hey, that looks interesting. And so it's called Divorce Attorney Shin, which is so driven by a personal tragedy. A pianist turned lawyer navigates the complex world of divorce, fighting for his clients to win by any means necessary. So this feels like a revenge plot vibes, or like a vengeance vibe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it? I can't tell if this is comedy or drama.
It feels drama, like from the
It
sound of
feels
it.
drama, right? Like the
It's giving
pianist
drama.
turn.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
what is the tragedy? Oh, is it, like every K drama lead has like a mysterious backstory
Mystery. Yeah, yeah,
tragedy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So the attorney is played by Choi Sung Woo, who is he was in Taza the High Rollers. If anyone's seen that show with T.O.P. from Big Bang in it, and he's come on other shows as well. He's come on Sisyphus, The Myth, and the lead actress is Han Hye-jin, who is I can't find anything that we've seen from her. There are
Hmm.
older shows. This show called Love Naggers and Healing Camp. Aren't you happy? Question mark. So this is, I think, our first K drama where we're watching very not the mainstream actors and actresses, not
Yeah.
the mainstream. Oh my God, they're so beautiful, like kind of this thing. So
Yeah, let's go watch it. Wow. Okay. Not.
that summary did not prepare me for what we watched. It didn't match.
I walked away from that summary, first of all, thinking it was,
Angst,
yeah, like a lot more
dramatic.
deeper, intense.
Yeah, like
And
I was imagining the opening scene to be of him being like, ding.
oh, yeah, I feel like the, oh,
Pianist
you
was
know
not
what?
mentioned.
No, but he had an incredible sound system and he always was very like musically oriented.
Oh, okay, maybe later on. Yeah, I think maybe the
Maybe later
backstory
on,
we dig
yeah.
into later on. Okay, but let's begin with what we actually saw. So, what did we watch? What happened in the
Okay, so
first
we're
episode?
introduced to our divorce attorney, Shin, who seems to be quirky, cool guy,
Yeah, he likes
who's
to sing in
out
the
there.
car. He loves to
Yeah,
listen to music and sing along. I think that's the limit of
yeah.
his quirkiness, though.
No, I mean, he also seemingly
Fights for
carries a diaper
AG.
bag as his like professional bag.
That is true. He's our
And
quirky attorney.
yeah, he is a quirky attorney and he works specifically in family law. And he has one sort of paralegal who works with him and they have a great like
Mhm.
relationship. I think that was, I think, for the first time in a very long time, I watched a show and I like laughed out loud.
Like
And a
it
lot
wasn't
of
a
that
forced
was
romance or anything. It was just like a
correct.
goofy
Yeah.
paralegal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're also introduced to our main female lead, who is in the throes of a tragedy herself, where she is aiming,
She's a
she's going,
celebrity.
yeah, low key celebrity. Like, I don't think she's
She's a
very, like, she's a
DJ
radio
and
celebrity,
yeah,
RJ.
she's a RJ and her husband and basically she had a sex tape of hers leaked because of which her husband is asking for a divorce and she wants to fight for the custody of her child. And
Hmm.
interestingly, the paralegal is a huge fan of this RJ. Yeah, I think the show does a good job of just like little bits of situational comedy instead of being a whole comedic spectacle. It's just like little like sprinkle of comedic moments, situational
Hmm.
comedy. But yeah, so that happens, and then she comes to this lawyer. He's supposedly famous for being a divorce lawyer, and she asks him to get custody for his child. And initially, he's like, "Oh, you had a sex tape. You know, it will be very difficult for you to win this." But she's like, "I don't want to win anything. I don't need money. I just want the custody of my child." So the divorce attorney is like, "Oh, my heart melted." And he's like, "Okay,
Yeah, and
fine,
there's
let's."
heavy suggestion of what the personal tragedy could be and this why he turned to family law. Yeah,
Now
could be.
that,
This is all could be. Like in the first
hmm,
episode, it's really not clarified at
that's
all.
true.
But I like just the way this show was set up, it does feel
Hmm,
like for him it was maybe like losing custody of his own child,
could
perhaps.
be. Could be something child
Yeah.
related, maybe. Or maybe like his parents lost custody of him. Like that could be an angle. But,
Sure, my only reasoning for not going with childhood trauma versus adult trauma is because he's a pianist turned lawyer, not like
oh, okay,
became a
okay,
lawyer
okay.
as he grew up. So something definitely
That's
happened while he was an adult.
from her asking for divorce and like everyone kind of whispering around her, be like, oh my god, she got a sex tape leaked, and like her getting kicked out of her job and all of that. But eventually we find out that her husband was super abusive. He keeps track he keeps a track of her everything. He keeps like pushing a lot of abuse and negativity onto her. He's physically abusive, verbally abusive. He keeps sending notes degrading her throughout the day and a lot of other things, and the child is severely affected by all this fighting happening between the parents.
Yeah, and even the sex tape leak is heavily implied that the boyfriend or like the person that she was having an affair with was also doing it, like it was absolutely done on purpose. It wasn't an accidental thing,
Hmm.
where he did intentionally film her and release that tape, which
Yeah.
I know in America is, maybe there's a law, there is a law, right, that says like it is considered sexual assault. I know Asia hasn't caught up to that, where we're not doing that yet. We're
We
not
don't care
considering
enough.
any of that.
But
We
but
don't
the
care
big
enough.
major plot point of this is that while the sex tape was being made, she gets a call and her
Hmm.
lover like cuts the call and puts her phone on airplane mode or whatever and throws it away. And that call was while her kid was at school. And what had happened? He had a fight or he had a
He'd gotten an
quarrel?
injury. He'd had an injury
Gotten, yeah.
in the hospital, getting treated, and the teacher called the mother, who was his
Hmm.
primary caregiver, and she did not answer the
Pick
call,
up.
which
Yeah.
I think has led to a lot of the breakdown of the relationship between the son and the mother in this case.
That's true.
I
And that's also a big
think
like case for them saying that she's a negligent mother.
I think that's kind of what we saw in the first episode. So
Hmm.
first, right off the bat, first thoughts.
It was slow, it was very slow, but I think what it had like a certain kind of warmth or humanity. Like it didn't feel very showy, it wasn't too glam everyone. It was pretty drab, it was very real, but like in a fun way and not in a boring way. And I kind of enjoyed that aspect initially. But by the end, I think with the story building up, it did like pick up pace. And at the end where he's like, no, let's fight for this custody. I think by that time I was invested. I was like, yeah, I need to figure out how she gets the custody of this child and where do
Hmm.
we go from here. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with the pacing. I at some point we did switch over to watching it on 1.5x, and it still felt slow. Like
Slow.
there were a lot
Yeah.
of long pauses and all of that,
Mm,
which I don't think aided at all to the story or the suspense
hmm.
or the tension. It didn't feel anything. But you're
Yeah.
right, the story itself was very, very gripping. I'm so invested in the story. My only question, and I do, like I said this while we were watching the show as well, there's
Hmm.
12 episodes. I don't
Yeah.
understand what is going to happen in the rest of the 11 episodes. I don't
I
see
feel
the
like
trajectory. I don't know how
What
they're
we
going to
got
fill
from
it
the
up.
summary, the way the summary was placed, not like the actual show, but the way it's summarized, it kind of felt like maybe Attorney where we'll get like more cases as and when the episodes come, but maybe this will be a major case that
Oh,
keeps going
oh,
on throughout. Like
oh,
it
I
could
didn't
be
think of
that.
that at all.
Because it is
I
an
my
attorney, right? He'll have other things as well
Oh,
working
right. No, I
for
just didn't
him.
think of that at all. My assumption was that if at all they'll show anything else, would be
His
resolution of
past.
his past trauma,
That could be
like
also
whatever
true.
it is. If it is like trying to get custody or anything like that, I assumed that that would be
Hmm.
it. Oh, I never thought that there'd be other cases on the
I
floor.
mean,
Hmm,
it could not.
interesting.
That's just my assumption. But yeah, it could be that we're
Yeah.
dwelling into his past, and maybe like this case starts bringing up things from his past as well, and that's how we kind of
Hmm.
start getting flashbacks about that. So it could be that.
What is your pro for the show?
Pro is definitely, I think, the acting. It's in the writing. Okay, not the writing as much as the acting. It is well written in the sense it doesn't have holes in it. Like it's
Hmm.
very it's got a good direction in terms
Hmm.
of what the writing intends. But I think the acting is very natural, very real. It's not over the top, it's not muted. Like, none of the people felt like they weren't the people they were supposed to be. Like, the sad woman who's lost her job and wants to fight for she's not like, I want to fight for my child. It's like, oh no, I'm so sad. Like, it was none of that. It was just very muted. And initially I was like, why is she so muted? But like throughout, like as the episode progressed, I kind of realized this is a very like good way to showcase all the turmoil. And maybe at some point we do get like a vent or something eventually. But I like
Perhaps,
that.
perhaps.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
characters,
no, I
like the
mean, you
slight
also have to
character
remember, right?
building.
Like, this is a person who's come out of a like still exists in a fairly abusive situation,
That's
for
exactly true.
nearly a decade. So that must obviously
Hmm.
lend itself to her being a muted character, as you say. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, I think my pro would definitely agree with this. I think the acting was genuinely good. Like, I
Hmm.
remember saying that while watching it because I was just shocked
You laughed.
like that it was yeah,
It
not
was
just that
actually
I
funny.
laughed, I feel like it was genuine acting. I
Hmm.
think slice of life had an element to play in this. Like, there are some
Hmm.
side characters that they show with the attorney having like a friend who he's loaned money to, and they're waiting for rent. And there's some thing about some grandmother run ramen shop, which I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
it's a there'll be a callback to it at some point or not, but it felt foreshadowy.
that is true.
But those sort of elements I feel like really aided in it being a realistic look as opposed to
Hmm.
just
No, it
flashy
didn't exist
attorney
in a
and like
bubble.
sad lady. Like, it wasn't just
Yeah.
that.
What's a con for you?
Yeah, I think the story, like, I think there are the plot and story are different for me in my head. Like, the plot itself is very gripping. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they're going to flesh it out with all the episodes, and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel promising enough that they'd be able to do justice to it. And it
Okay.
sort of felt like, to me, it feels like there will be filler episodes, and like
Mm-hmm.
there is an
They'll
inkling
drag it
of
out.
fear in my heart that they're going to make it a romantic connection between the two leads, and I don't want
Mm-hmm.
that because it feels like a really strange setup. Like, she's coming out of abusive relationship, she's looking for a divorce, he's her attorney. And I know, like, in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Taylor married her divorce attorney, but like,
Look where that
no.
got her.
Yeah, no, 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 she's fine. Like, she's living a great life. And she had also come out of an abusive relationship. Oh my God, they just stole the story from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you guys.
For me, it's definitely the pacing. I feel like I don't mind the plot as much or the story, whichever one you place it as. I think, like I said, it feels promising, so I'm not sure. I wouldn't judge so quickly. And I feel like with what we've seen, it doesn't feel like someone put effort into creating these characters. Someone put effort into creating certain nuances within the first episode that we watched. So from that, I mean, I could be wrong, but I have an intuition that it wouldn't just be like a throwaway, like filler shit and things like that. But I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, I hope so. I forgot I
But
do have
yeah,
another con, which is the child.
like the fact that there is a child.
I mean, it's okay that there's a child. Maybe they should have gotten a baby or something, but like, then I guess the abuse wouldn't have been obvious. But like, the
Hmm.
child actor ain't it.
Okay, there's one scene just really funny where the child is apparently having like a panic attack or something at night, and he's like, "Ah," And then his mother runs to him, and she's also like,
And she's also like,
ah!
ah!
And then the
And the
father
father
is
is
like,
like,
call
ah!
911. And he calls 911, and the kid like takes the phone and keeps throwing it. And the father is also like, ah! And I'm like, why is everyone just screaming?
Yeah, it was a very strange scene.
That's not how you
Um,
deal with a panic attack. But for me, it was kind of slow, and I don't know. I don't think it gets faster. I think this is the pace because it felt very evenly paced throughout, and I'm just like, I maybe I will watch it, but I'll like skip through a lot of it to get through the show.
Yeah, it's definitely left me very curious. And I
Hmm.
know we initially started out before we watched the show. I theorized that it was leaning towards drama. Now I do want to rework it to be like a drama D.
Hmm. Slice of life. It's giving slice of life.
Slice, yeah, it is really giving slice of life, but not in the typical way, not in like, our blues or hometown cha 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 were. Like, I
Hmm.
think they're a very specific type of slice of life.
Romanticized. It's not a romanticized slice of life. This is a more
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like not a nice slice
Gr-
of life.
Yeah, but also it's not gritty or anything like that. It just seems like
Hmm.
regular. It
Chill.
genuinely gives regular.
The question that we have to ask ourselves at the end of each of these episodes. Is it a K drama or is it a K flop? What do you think?
Yeah, definite K drama for me. I think
Hmm.
maybe I'm not running back immediately to watch the second episode. Like I'm not, oh my god, I need to know what
Yeah.
happens.
Hmm.
But no, I don't want to give it up at all. I do want to watch it. I may watch it
Hmm.
slow, but I do want to see where this goes. I think they built a very interesting plot,
Hmm.
and especially setting it in a situation which I think is just more relatable for us because we're Asians as well, and this is how women are treated in society. So if you
That's true.
so yeah, that way there were great parallels to draw from because Asia, women, misogyny,
Hmm.
misogyny. So I would
Yeah.
definitely continue
And I
to
like
watch
how
it. What
the
about you?
attorney, sorry, just to add to that, I liked how the attorney was kind of juxtaposed to that idea. And, at some point, and this was very minor, it wasn't like, oh my God, he's such a feminist, cool bro. It wasn't
Hmm.
pushed like this, but she was like, oh, aren't you gonna judge me? And he's like, no, it's fine, whatever. And I think that was like
Hmm.
really subtly done, but that was really nice. So I think for me, I'll say right now watching the first episode, it is definitely a K drama that I do want to watch. But the thing I'm on the fence with is after 2 or 3 episodes, is it still gonna give the same? Like, is it still
That
gonna
is
make me
true.
want to finish it? Which pertains to your point, where where are they gonna take the story and how is it gonna go?
Yeah. Like
But
I'm being
for
very honest, if at any point they lock eyes over like a midnight coffee run or something and like slow music plays in the background, the way I'm dipping out of this.
that
Like
you said that about
done.
Attorney Woo as well, but like you still watched all of it.
No, no, Attorney Who had a lot of story as well,
Other
right? Like,
things,
and
yeah,
I feel
that's
like
true.
there I was unhappy about the fact that there was a romantic storyline. Here, like it
Doesn't make
no,
sense.
it
Hmm,
just doesn't make sense.
that's
Real
true.
Housewives of
I
Beverly
mean,
Hills.
honestly, I expected if it's not there, I'd be genuinely surprised. But if it's there, I don't think
Hmm.
for me that would be a big difference. But yeah, watching the first episode, definitely a K drama, definitely would check out. And I would recommend anyone who likes like these slow, kind of gripping K dramas, which are a lot more story forward. They're not too flashy. There's not like instant humor, instant sadness, like none of those extreme instant K drama in your face
Hmm.
emotions.
And
Then you
it
should
didn't feel
definitely.
tropey also, like
Yeah,
very
but if
heavy or
you
that.
are somebody who's into K-dramas for the sake of like glam and all of those things, like then or like a very romantic thing, or you like very particular tropes, you're right. No tropes.
Hmm.
If you like tropes, then maybe this might not be for you.
Yeah, and I think also just given the way that they set it up, like the fact that they are moving to a trial, this may move into a more law procedural kind of show in the
Hmm.
future, like the
Hmm.
future episodes. So you also have to think about that, like if that's something you're willing to dedicate your time to, because
That
so
is.
far we've only had like very minor mediation scenes, but that's kind of the
Hmm.
extent of it.
Tell us if you have watched this, if our review intrigued you to check out this show, because I haven't heard enough people talking about it. And if
Hmm.
you have any other recommendation and you think we should check out a K drama that you have been loving recently, let us know in the
Or
comments.
even hating, honestly. Like
Yeah,
let we want to see it all out there.
yeah, we've seen it all already, but we're open to it.
Yeah, we want more. This was our episode of K Drama Kflop. We will be back next week with a brand new episode, which will be definitely about a new K-pop album that is coming out.
Oh my god,
Wonder what
punctuation.
is that?
No.
Ooh. So look forward to that. We eagerly are. I was Zara.
And I was Sophia. We'll see you next time. Bye.